Hello, this is going to be a mini review and also hidden features. There's a couple of hidden features on these which is not in the manual, which I'm going to reveal to you later. But this is going to be a mini review on the new Boutique series, which all of them are amazing. Now I've got analog synthesizers, I've had analog synthesizers. I'll just pan round and show you a couple of bits and pieces that I have. I mean, that's just scratching the surface there. I mean, over the other side I've got a big modular system. In fact, let's go around so you can see. So yeah, I have a good range of analog synthesizers, and so I've got a lot of experience. I've been doing music since the 80s, so basically, I want to talk about these. These are absolutely awesome. They're very limited run, so it's not going to be long before these will be really hard to get hold of, and no doubt once the word gets out how good they actually are, they will become really sought after, and then end up like one of these little babies here. This is a 303. I can't really pull it down because the wires, but anyway. But yeah, these are going to be sought after if Roland do stick to their plan and keep it as very limited edition. So anyway, firstly I want to talk about these. Now this one here is the Juno VI. Now, I'll talk about this one first because I think this is, out of the three, this is the least capable. This has got the least amount of functionality, routing options, modulation or anything like that. It's only got a single oscillator, a single envelope, and the usual stuff. So you don't have any option of cross modulating between two oscillators. There's no ring modulation, there's no cross modulation, anything like that. About the best you can get out of the oscillator is the pulse width, which gives you, well, if you know what pulse width is, then I don't need to explain. If you don't, then look it up, because I'm not going to explain it. This is a review. So this is the Juno, and basically these became really quite sought after. I mean, for years and years they were quite cheap synthesizers. Out of the whole of the Juno series, it's probably the least featured. The Alpha Juno was the most featured, but they didn't have any sliders or anything on the panel. So basically the Alpha Juno is, yeah, the best featured. The Juno VI is probably the best sounding because of the they have really nice filters on them. The Juno 60 has the nice filters, but the high pass is switched rather than variable like the 6. So the 6 is just that little bit nicer, but again, it's a single oscillator synthesizer, so you're not going to get a lot out of it, and with only one envelope you haven't got much option to do a lot, but they do have a really nice sound, and that is down to the chorus, and that is the classic sound of the Juno, is this chorus feature here. Now you have three chorus functions. You have one, you have two, and then you have the third one when you press both of them together, just like on the Juno 6 and the other Juno series. The Alpha Juno actually had, because it was all programmed through a window, basically it actually had the three choruses built in, but I find that the chorus 3, which is what happens when you press both of these buttons together, I find is it's just too fast, and because it's not analog you can't go in and do any modifications easily. This is a software thing, so maybe Roland will do something about that in a future update. Maybe not. Maybe they're happy with the extremely fast chorus that chorus 3 options gives you the option for. Anyway, so that's the 6. This is a JX. Now this is better featured in many respects. This has had the most additions added to it as a synth out of all of the range. Firstly, it has the PG200 programmer, which was a separate unit, all built into the synth. So you've got the hands-on stuff right away. Now these seem to be the least favoured, but I actually really like this, because the cross modulation options, you've got Syn 1, Syn 2, Metallic 1 and Metallic 2. You've also got a ring modulator. The original didn't have. Now the original just had Metallic and Syn for the modulation routing options. Now this has got Syn 1 and Syn 2, and what it does, it swaps over which oscillator modulates the other. So normally it would be DCO1 modulating DCO2, but when you switch it to the other way, it reverses it. So your DCO2, which has got more features, so you've got a tune control and other stuff, actually modulates DCO1. So there, straight away, you've got a hell of a lot of power just in that, having the option of that. And then you've got the ring modulator as well, which the original didn't have. You've also got the option of going down to 64 feet. Now the original went 2, 4, 8, 16. This one goes 32 and 64 as well. So you've got an amazing machine here for the money. Now the JX3P, as it was, sounded great, but with this extra feature, this extra functionality, it's even better. If I had a JX3P, I would sell it because I wouldn't need it anymore. And as for these analog heads that are saying, oh yeah, well it's not analog, da 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 da, a lot of polysynths, particularly the Juno, the Jupiter, the JX, a lot of the circuitry was digital. The stuff that they've modelled is really well modelled. Now Roland have always been good at modelling digital filters. Now I've got JD800, I've got JP8000, SH201. The filters on those are absolutely amazing. I've had a D50, I've had D10, I've had all sorts of digital synths from Roland over the years, and the digital filters are bang on, absolutely bang on. You do get a little bit of clipping on the earlier models like the JD800 clips, but you just adjust the VCA to compensate. But you don't get that problem with these. Anyway, so the technology has gone on so far that not only is it a great filter, it's an awesome filter, and it sounds just like the original because it's actually modelled using ACB technology, analog circuit behaviour. So basically, as the signal goes through the diodes and capacitors and transistors of a normal analog synthesizer, this models that. Rather than saying, oh, we want an oscillator, we'll just have a circuit that switches that on, then that off, and make a square wave. It actually models the circuitry, so whatever a capacitor would be doing and how that would behave against a transistor and against diodes, resistors, and all the other components in the circuit. This does models perfectly, and it sounds perfect. I mean, I've had a lot of these. I've actually had 2 Juno 106s. They look great, and this is why they sell for so much money, because they look amazing, but they're not really that well featured, and this is why I ended up selling them. I ended up getting bored of them and selling them because they're not that great, but I got this because it's dirt cheap. These are all dirt cheap. Anyway, so yeah, that is a really good that's a really good buy. I highly recommend it. If you want the lower budget, out of the 2, the JX has definitely got the edge. And you've also got the chorus. You've only got the one option of the chorus though, which is just which seems to be well configured anyway. You know, rather than having 2 or 3 choruses like the Juno, this one, all it is when I say choruses, it's just different speeds. It's slightly different speeds. I think chorus 2 has a deeper chorus, and it's just high speed for chorus 3. But yeah, anyway, so that's awesome. And to be honest, if you want to have a chorus sound, because the JP08 doesn't have a chorus, the original Jupiter never had a chorus, so it doesn't have a chorus on here. If you want a chorus, just get a chorus pedal like this. So like I've got an SH, if I want it to sound like a Juno, that's the SH sound. You can get a perfect Juno sound out of just adding a chorus ensemble pedal. You know, they're easy to come by. You can pick them up for a little amount of money on eBay. Anyway, that's a different subject. Let's go to the Jupiter. This is absolutely awesome. Now, I have had a few people saying about these, the controls here. There's literally 1 centimetre of travel for the sliders on this. So there's a lot of error. Now, cross modulation is one fine example. You can oscillate, because this goes down into a low frequency. So if you've got a VCO2 doing a low frequency and it's switching this VCO high and low, and your cross modulation is, if you just want a slight variation, to actually get that sweet spot is really hard. Generally the controls are great. I mean, if you just, you know, you can find your decay where you want it roughly, you find your attack and stuff like that, that's easy enough. Cut off, you can get a good sense of where it needs to be. You know, you can you've got a good control of that. But things that really require fine tuning, stuff like the cross modulation, where you just want to just ease a little bit of what this is modulating, just a slight bit, rather than whack it right the way up and have it going crazy. You might want to just have a little bit of slight modulation there on, you know, give it a little that special sound that the original Jupiter had. So yeah, this is definitely the downfall out of this. Now, hopefully they will bring out a JP-08 Mark II. I'm hoping. I don't know. They might do, they might not. This is what I'd like to see, because this is the main complaint that everybody's had. In this part of the video, I'm going to talk about the hidden features on these synthesizers. Now, it affects, one of the features affects 2 of them, and the other feature affects all of them. Now, the first feature that I'm going to talk about is the one that affects every one of the synthesizers. Now, on a lot of analog synthesizers, or any synthesizer, you have a modulation wheel, and you can set it to wherever you want. You can hold it there and just leave it and have that modulation exactly there, or you can have it on nothing, or whatever. But with these, once you've set your modulation, you let go, it's gone. So to actually activate that so it locks in its place, you hold manual, you press 11, and you press 2, option 2, then gives it the option of staying where it is. So I can just set that modulation wherever I want. It works for the modulation, not the pitch bend, but the pitch bend on any synth always returns to where the centre line anyway. So yeah, that's a handy feature to know. You know, it's the same with this one, which is, so that's 11, 8, 9, 10, 11. Put it on 2, and then you've got the feature there. So there's your modulation routing options. That's one feature that's not in the manual, and another one that's not in the manual is the chorus noise. Now, Roland kindly modelled the noise of the chorus exactly as the originals. Now, these synthesizers were renowned for noise, and it was one thing, you know, you'd have to buy a whole load of noise gates. In fact, before I found out about this feature, I got all my old noise gates out of the closet, and I've now wired up all my desk, so I've got noise gates on it, but I don't need them, because you can actually reduce the chorus noise. So rather than manual 11, you hold manual and 12. Now you've got 3 options here. Now default is 3, so that is chorus noise. 2 is half chorus noise, and 1 silences the chorus noise altogether. So that then becomes really usable. So you can use the chorus without having this horrible noise in your mix. So that's the hidden features. Okay, well that's it. I hope you enjoyed the review, and thanks ever so much for watching.